What's up, guys? This is Josh with the RightRitRite, and today's video is what Casey-Neistat can teach you about writing. So I've heard you say before that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. What advice would you give an aspiring writer who wants to be as prolific and prepared as possible?
Can you read what that says? That is a fluorescent light that hangs above my office door that says work harder. It also says the same thing tattooed on my wrist, just in case I forget. Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Thank you, Ryan, for turning me on to that quote. And that pretty much sums it up. Right now it's go time for me. I want to maximize every waking second. I'm never going to get any younger, but right now I'm completely healthy, I'm full of energy, and who knows how long this will last. I doubt it's going to be like that when I'm 50 or 60 years old, so I want to do it now. With that, I wanted to share a little bit of my thinking behind that, like a little bit of the logic and then the mechanics behind maximizing, or my consideration for really maximizing every day. And I know that this is crazy person talk, but the truth is, the only time I really get bummed out or depressed is when I'm not being productive, is when I'm not accomplishing or doing or contributing in any way. Nothing makes me less happy than relaxation and sitting around with nothing to do. Time is the most precious resource. This is the most valuable thing I have, and that's why I'm so protective of my time. I think life is substantiated by whatever impact or whatever contribution you can make while you're alive. The finish line's the same for everyone. We're all ending up in the same place, but while we're here, what contribution can you make? Work and building things and making things and doing things and spending time with your family, those are the ways that I feel I'm contributing, that I'm accomplishing something. So why wouldn't I want to maximize my time as efficiently as possible to be as effective as I can with that? And that is why I say free time is the enemy of progress, because free time sitting around is not doing. And that's why I try to omit that entirely from my life.
So sometimes new writers and strong writers alike struggle with writer's block. How do you pull yourself out of that rut?
Work. Work is the answer to a lot of problems. It cures depression, heartbreak, all those things. When you're in a bad place, I bury myself with work. The progress and the physical activity and the brain distraction, it like breaks me out of anything.
So let's say I'm struggling with motivation. How can I get myself motivated to write?
I can't tell you that. You have to find your own motivation. Can't rely on other people. What keeps me motivated? Well, in short, I'm here. All of my dreams and aspirations are here. And the only thing in between these two is a bunch of work. So tackling that work is a way of moving this needle. That's all the motivation I need. I love progress in any manifestation. Yeah, I've never struggled with motivation, ever.
You've mentioned in the past how important it is to surround yourself with good people, and we know that applies not only to you as a filmmaker, but to us writers too. How do you do that?
That's a great question. I don't know how to surround yourself with the right people. What I do is eliminate the bad people. If you're somebody that I don't want in my life, get out.
How can I set myself apart as a writer and not care about what people think?
That's a two-part answer to a two-part question. The first part about how do you just do your own thing. In life you have two options. You can do your own thing and stand out, or you can do what you're supposed to do, you can do what everyone else does, and you can fit in. There's nothing wrong with fitting in, but you're fitting into cultural or societal norms that were created by other people. Now, in some cases these norms are great, but in others they don't make sense. These norms, these rules, were created by someone just like you or someone just like me. I don't know who created these norms. Chances are they weren't anyone smarter than you or me. And if I'm not a fan of the way things are, I just do my own thing because I trust myself and I trust my perspective more so than that of other people. Part two, how do you not give a shit about what people think of you? I should preface this answer by saying I definitely got made fun of a lot for the way that I look when I was in school, and all of those bullies that picked on me are all losers now. So never forget that. Judgmental people are of a lower moral authority than those who don't judge. And we, people who don't judge, we have a responsibility to crush, to destroy those mean, judgmental bullies. And we do that with an overwhelming positivity, and we do that with our extreme open-mindedness. And when you subscribe to those values, you really stop caring what other people think. Because chances are, if other people are judging you, they're wrong.
So I'm pretty sure I want to be a writer, but how do you know for sure that you're on the right career path?
Every time I've sort of made a big decision on what I wanted to do in life, or I've discovered a passion, it's been then like years of pain and years of struggle to realize, or to even get myself on the course to realize that. When I first discovered filmmaking and I was like, this is all I want in life, I was 17 years old. I was on welfare. It took me a decade before I figured out how to make a living at it. When I decided that I didn't want to date anymore, I didn't want to be single, that I was unhappy, I wanted a family. It took me years to talk Candace into marrying me, and then actually us getting married, and then having a baby. So realizing it takes time, and realizing it requires commitment. But it's that first step, that first decision point, that enables you to sort of realize the ambition, or at least begin the process to realize that ambition. This is something I do every day, even now. I'm 34 years old, I feel like I've come really far in life, but I want to go much further, and I'm constantly reevaluating my decisions and what I'm doing to make sure I'm on the path that I want to be on. So anyways, that's it. It's a pretty simple idea. It's something that I believe in to the point of it being like religion. I am always fixated on what am I doing and what do I want to be doing. And then that guides me. That is like that is the lighthouse that I follow through the darkness. But your grasp should always be just outside your reach. What's the point in having ambitions if they aren't seemingly unattainable?
I want to be a great writer. Where do I start?
The only thing in life that stands between you and everything you've ever wanted to do is doing it. All that stood between me and everything I've ever wanted to do in life was doing it.
Sometimes I write and create less than I want to because of perfectionism, and I wonder, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And also, how did you find your voice as a storyteller?
Never let perfect be the enemy of good enough. That principle really articulates what these vlogs are for me. Prior to vlogging, I used to put out maybe a movie a month or something like that, and my excuse for not being more prolific was always that I want what I make to be perfect. And I guess if you're Stanley Kubrick or you're Quentin Tarantino, there is validity in that argument. But in retrospect, that argument was just an excuse for me to not make more. By no longer letting myself embrace that excuse, I've forced myself to be more prolific. And it was via that proliferation, via that increased output of my own medium, these movies, that I found my voice, and I've found, I think, a renewed passion for what has been my craft.
Let's dig a little deeper there. In what ways has ridding yourself of perfectionism made you better?
Someone who starts something and doesn't finish something, that is a loser. Someone who starts something and always finishes it, that is a closer. Last week I talked about that Voltaire quote, perfection is the enemy of good. And what that means is you can never let your desire for perfection prevent you from finishing something that's good. Because to finish something, even imperfectly, is to learn from it, and then you can move on and get closer to perfection. Prior to really embracing YouTube, I always considered like my filmmaking, the content I made, to be precious, and perfection was imperative. And how that actually manifested, what that actually meant, was I just didn't make a lot of stuff because I always had that excuse to fall back on. And in embracing YouTube, and more specifically, giving myself this daily mandate to upload a video, It has forced me to abandon this idea of perfection, this false idea of perfection, and instead forced me to focus on productivity. And that, in aggregate, over time, has made me a much better filmmaker, has made me a much better storyteller, creator, all of that.
How does the 80-20 principle work for you in terms of storytelling and editing?
80% of the movie, that is the filming, like all the stuff with the camera, me out running around, like the idea, the concept, all that stuff. The first 80% of the movie is only 20% of the work. And the last 20% of the movie, which is for me, the editing, the last 20% of the movie is 80% of the work. All the things that people typically associate with making a movie is really only the small part of the pie. And the big part of the pie, the Pac-Man part, this is finishing. This is closing. And this rule, by the way, this applies to everything in life. This applies to school, whether you're a painter or a musician, trying to write a song, trying to start a company. Entrepreneurship, this applies to. My business, this applies to. When you run a marathon, 26 miles, the first 22 is only 20% of the work. It's those last 4 miles that are 80% of the work.
Natural talent, luck, and determination. Which of these factors are most vital for storytelling, writing, creating, and ultimately career success?
Natural talent, luck, and determination. Natural talent is highly overrated. It's determination, 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 and then like luck and all that other education and all that. It's like, it's not even in the same pie chart.
All right, this is my last question. Other than hard work, what is the most important thing a writer needs to achieve massive Casey-Neistat-level success?
Focus. Focus is super underrated. Like, if you commit all that you are and all of your energy to one thing, I took this from a book called, I don't know what it's called, but it goes like this. All right, you can do 10 things to like the first degree, like this right here, and that's how well you'll do all 10 things. Or you can do one thing to the 10th degree right there, and look how much better you do that. So when it comes to focus, to put all of your energy into one thing is to do that one thing really well, to the best of your abilities, to take it all the way. And to scatter yourself means you're never actually accomplishing anything. You're just sort of chipping away at a bunch of nothingness. And this is true for work, this is true for like dating versus committing yourself to one person, friendship, everything. Like really focusing and investing yourself into something you're passionate about will always yield better results than scattering yourself around, than spreading yourself thin.
All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. This is Josh with the Write, Write, Write. I will see you in the next one.